All right, now we will do community updates. I arbitrarily put ISNY first. I do have news to report. We do not have a coordinator for ISNY anymore. Unfortunately, um, unforeseen circumstances mean that Leslie needs to step down, which we are sad for, and really grateful that she just got the whole thing going to begin with. So now we're kind of scrambling to figure out what to do. I will be stepping in to sort of schedule meetings for them and just sort of do the administrative stuff, and hopefully we can keep it going at least through the second cohort onboarding. Eh. Um, so that's okay. It's fine. Um, we'll get there. But in the meantime, IMAC now has to recruit someone new. So I have no idea what the update is for them. I remember uh, Emma and her colleague at British Library, whose name I forget. Someone? Anyone? No? All right, it's fine. Anyway, a couple of people from British Library's ISNY Quality team had done this great like training video and help people get oriented to what that all is about. And I heard that went over pretty well. I watched like the first 15 minutes of it, I think, and it seemed to go pretty well. So that was, I think, the last thing that I remember happening in that group. And so I think the next thing, of course, is just getting the second cohort onboarded. Um, and I hope to learn more very soon about what they need to be doing. So I have no idea whether they talked about statistics in that group, like that, and that's something we'll talk about later today. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, all right, so that's the ISNY update. Oh, that's the wrong screen. I am not going to screen share. I hope that's okay, but I can, I guess, if you request it. Um, too many things open. I miss my dual monitors at home. That's the thing. Okay. WorldCat entities, folks. Do you want to go next? Or I don't really care the order.
Yes. And now that you're mentioning it, I realize I forgot to send out the notes and the recording from our last meeting. Yep. Um, but they are here. Here, I'll paste it in here for everybody. There you go. Um, we're currently kind of working through this feedback form. We gave people some more opportunities to put in feedback. And we're trying to encourage people to sign up for the Google group
Mm.
and then hopefully use that for communication going forward. And yeah, you know what? I haven't looked at the responses to the feedback form in a little bit. Let's see what they look like right now. Oh no, wait, I'm on a loaner laptop. I can't, it's gonna take me forever to log in it into anything.
You can always distribute some high level takeaways asynchronously. Just give
Um,
you if
yeah,
you would
unless
like to.
no, we're just working through the fields. And anyway, all the
Hmm,
links are there. And I'll send it out to the listservs.
no
I don't
worries.
know if Misty or Anne have any other thoughts on what's happening with that.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah. Go
mean
ahead,
it's
Misty.
going well. Um, we're like Jill said, we're working through it, and honestly, I wish more people would have filled out the feedback form for the amount of people in our group, but I guess that's as to be expected. Hopefully, more people will at least comment um, during the meeting, but yeah, that's how it is.
So something that maybe could just help this group go forward and not worry about it too much is that it's okay to have something be a working document, right? And it's not set in stone. It's something that, you'll revisit in a year when maybe people are more more experienced with it. They have a better idea, they got their footing maybe. I don't know. I think during the early adopters phase, it's totally okay to live in a space of this is good for now, you know, right? Like we're not setting it in stone for the PCC like right now. So I think that's great, honestly. It's a start. That's where we need to go. Uh, so hopefully, yeah, maybe during the meeting you'll get some better feedback or more vigorous feedback. Um, okay.
And that's a
Anything else?
good
Any?
point too. Sorry, Jennifer.
No,
But
no, go
just
ahead.
like even with more people coming on board, and adding to the
Yeah.
group, we'll have more people being interested in adding to the feedback. And
Mhm.
maybe the first set will be a little more like they'll feel a little more knowledgeable and hopefully,
Hmm.
kind of like the senior members or something and they'll kind of help out and maybe take the lead and um, get more comfortable with that. But yeah, I think maybe even with the onboarding and new people, there will be more people maybe filling out the form, hopefully. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think if we really overgeneralize for just a moment, if you'll indulge me, we're we're a careful breed, aren't we? Catalogers, metadata types. The data has to be consistent or it doesn't work. We want to make good long-term decisions. The data should be shareable, but also be flexible enough to accommodate a local context or decision, right? And so we try to move really intentionally. And if we're not feeling very comfortable with the new environment we're in, I think it's totally makes total sense to me that people would be like, hmm.
I will,
So,
I'll say I
sorry.
kind of abandoned my original cataloger philosophy and ethos when OCLC started just putting tons and tons of junk into their database. I was like, that's it. It's a free for all. We just can't anymore. There's no standardization. We're lost.
Encoding level, what encoding level? Yeah. Yeah.
What is the encoding level? The
This
government,
is,
the little government symbols are never right.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
There's 1,000 duplicates. There's all this junk from the vendors. I'm like, that's
I
it.
try to think of
We're
it
done.
positively, like, oh, I have something to do today. But well, at the end of the day, it's like, well, chaos. Yeah, I think it was really interesting. We had a tangent today at a PCC policy committee meeting where we were talking about um how the culture of PCC needs to change. I'm sure Anne hears it all the time. You have to have a thick skin if you work at OCLC. Um, so the yeah the the mindset needs to be different to work with linked data. That's just like, especially when it's open linked data and anyone can say anything about anything and stuff could be wrong at the same time as it's right. And it's like, like it's not our walled garden of beautiful data, right? That's not the place we're going. So we need a mental shift, and that's gonna be hard for us. I don't know how to help the PCC do that, but I think making our communities a practice very open to these like gray areas and it being okay is maybe one way we can help people just feel more comfortable to play and experiment and get it out there and see what happens and then fine tune as we go. That's all I got. Like, but anyway, I feel like y'all are doing a great job of that anyway. And I think you just got to give people time to adjust and come along. I think we'll get there. But yeah, I totally get that. I understand. It's hard to do new things.
On a
All
similar
right.
note, which is kind of a lead into the Wikidata group, I was just
Mm.
in like some, God, I forget, some session like this where people started talking about how the K through 12 people are still telling students not to use Wikipedia because it changed, because people can go in and edit it, so it's not like a real encyclopedia, and you shouldn't use it when writing your K through 12 papers. And I was like, oh, that's going to have implications for us librarians if, the high school and middle school teachers are like, don't use linked open data sources because anybody can go in and change them. And then the librarians are like, but we're using linked open data sources.
There's, yeah. this is compounded by the fact that like my in my county, the schools don't actually have a credentialed librarian anymore. There's like no one to, tease out the nuances and help people
They're they're
understand like how to
school
evaluate.
media specialists now,
That's
media
right.
specialists. Yeah.
That's right. Sorry. Apologies, not the L word. Yeah. That's right. So anyway, it's a bigger problem we can solve here today. Yeah. We did have in the second cohort like two people from K through 12. Maybe we start there,
Oh.
y'all. Maybe we start there. But anyway. All right.
Yeah, but it feels like for the Wikidata group that's doing such a great job, I think the more
Yeah.
librarians get involved in
Mm,
that data space, could change some of the perceptions.
fingers crossed. Yep. Cool. Great. Any questions for the World Cat entities, folks? Okay. Great. Wikidata, anybody want to kind of give an update? What's going on? Or share anything? Questions? Whatever.
I mean, no questions. Sasha, Kyla, please jump in if I mischaracterize anything. We kind of stalled out on the statistics piece,
Mhm.
because there really is no one ultimate good way to keep statistics in Wikidata. So we think we're just going to give people the options and let people decide for
Mm.
themselves what makes sense. Freya Cole had a excellent suggestion about making a Google Chrome extension to basically track whatever items you want to track for the community of practice on like a Google sheet and then report that to PCC at the end of the month. The downside of that, there's two downsides to that. One, people would need to use Chrome. And two, we would need to find a developer to maintain that. So we have our fingers tightly crossed that if we,
Mm.
let the new cohort know that this is a thing that Freya has prototyped with the help of generative AI. We just need a developer to like make it happen.
Yeah.
Maybe, who knows, Freya will get bombarded with email and this will come to fruition, and nobody needs to figure out how to make a Sparkle query that is sensitive to the date that information was added. Um,
Mm.
Fingers crossed. Um, Other than
Fingers.
that, we were invited to hang out with Doug, the link data
Mhm.
user group. They're in the Midwest.
Mhm.
And we're gonna have a collaborative edit-a-thon with them sometime in May or June, TBD. Um, yeah, and finally, sorry, I'm running a little slow today, but just to go back to Jennifer's point about making the cops open to gray areas, I agree that that's going to be a big hurdle to jump because Eric Mignon, Crystal, and I recently had a presentation about EMCO for the Council on East Asian Libraries
Mm.
pre-conference workshop. And one of the first questions that we got in the chat was, what kind of quality control measures do we have for the contributions that people are making in Wikidata? And
Mm.
people did not seem to love that the answer was whatever options already exist within the community.
Um, does
Oh.
does the Wikimedia Foundation have like documentation on that that's kind of shareable, like how they do?
I mean, quality control in Wikidata is kind of dependent on volunteers noticing something and writing to someone. So, for example, when RCOP first started, I ended up having to drop someone a message because they created a bunch of really lovely Wikidata items that did not have the instance of property, but otherwise were great.
Yeah.
Um, and I only happened to notice that because it had an LC identifier on it, and one of my
Mm.
reports brought up that this thing with an LC identifier doesn't have a P31.
They
Um,
Wikipedia
so
in particular did institute some quality control group at some point. I'm trying to think they had just, because
I mean, there's a ton
librarians
of
love citations.
informal, yeah, there's a ton of informal quality control groups
Okay.
generally, but it's a big place.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if I'm just trying to rack my brain for like, sort of like, here's a link to what they said. Kind of stuff.
If you
Um,
find it, let me know. I'm sure I'll be like, oh yes, that is very familiar.
yeah. Because you know how a lot of times having that is,
I've contacted, I think, three people now doing bulk edits on gender, which are unsourced and just, well, their name looks like a boy, so that's why I did it. And it's like, that's not great.
oh,
It's really not. Honestly, that's why I kind of like for Japanese names because people outside of Japan have all kinds of assumptions about how those works. I tend to like defensively put in a gender because at least I have the cultural knowledge to make a better guess than they can. But anyways, that is neither here nor there.
um, on the Wikidata front, actually sort of tangential to this, I've been having some conversations with groups about mostly in relation to OCLC and trying to find other identifier standards to use for syncing that have all come back to Wikidata. And I was like, well, everybody's looking for someone to do works in the Wikidata anyway. So it looks like that. So I was talking to some folks at Internet Archive about this because I was trying to convince them, because they've got this big open library thing that has a whole bunch of catalog information from open access digitized resources. And so I was like, well, this would be a good pilot project. So hopefully that'll move forward in the next couple months. And then also Ex Libris, because we're an Ex Libris library, unsurprisingly, uh, saw a post based on this conversation from Internet Archive, because it's all posting on LinkedIn group, and was like, we would love to convince people to get away from OCLC. Please tell me how I could help. And I'm like, well, let's discuss this at Eluna. And then also in Ex Libris, there was this other thread of people complaining about OCLC. And I was like, I think the solution for a lot of this is to get a works identifier in Wikidata, which we need anyway to start building out some of the work you guys are doing. And so the Ex Libris conference is in 2 weeks, and I'm going to have an informal session. So, it's like maybe I can get the what is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Working against each other. Maybe we can get Ex Libris to create works in Wikidata as a battle measure against dependence on OCLC.
I
Sorry,
would
Anne, again.
I would like even if Ex Libris would just create the person entities based on the Wikidata identifier instead of the LC, we would have like huge amounts of data available. But because
Mhm.
it hinges on the LC number, we're like losing all of that. So like if you need a step towards like if we can move in that direction, I think everyone will be very excited.
So they're a little unrelated, but for them in terms of their data sets. Uh, but it's really interesting that you say that because the reason they linked it all to LC is because their initial user group pushed very heavily against openly bringing in anything. And they were like, no, we only want authorized headings. You have to check them against an authorized database before we will even accept it. So this actually is an excellent example of the pushback between the I must have it all authorized community and the open data. I want all the data set. But yeah, I'll there's a couple of sessions on link data that they're doing. I'll definitely bring that up with them, that there are users. There's a couple of groups that are working on pilots to bring in other kinds of linked open data, not from Wikidata, but from like their institutional repositories and ORCID. Um, so hopefully I'll get the update that at that conference too. Yeah. Um, and then there was I don't know, somebody else the other day who was talking about like how frustrated they were with ORCID never having actually been built out. It's like all the institutional repositories trying to get all the professors at their schools to build out their ORCID profiles. And mostly what everybody has is an empty profile with a name that's attached to an article. And this is another thing that the for-profits should be very interested in building out because they want to get that connection from the ORCID and the institutional assessment in the ORCID matched up with, the Wikidata and the linked up and the WorldCat entity and the LCNAF. So I don't know. I think part of this is seeing what we can do and advocate for as metadata specialists and what we're going to have to rely on some of the get some of the for-profits to. But yeah, I'll bring that up. Is anybody else at an ex Libris library?
Yes, but we're not going to. Well, we have one person going to Aluna, uh,
Okay.
who is interested, but it's not her primary job working with all that. Um, Heather Pretty from Memorial University will be there though, and she is very interested in linked data. So talk to her, and she'll tell the
Yeah.
rest of us in Canada at least.
Oh, nice. I think I've seen her in one of my other groups, Heather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, we're all a little bit boycotting the US as much as we can, but she's also American, so she can cross the border freely.
No, that came up apparently with the Illumina Planning Committee.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, they were like,
So,
apparently, like a bunch of the Canadians were like, we're not going to go this year if it's in America. And
yeah.
then the ex Libris group was like, oh, we always do it in America, though. I don't know when was the last time we did it in Canada. Did we ever do it in Canada? Apparently, this was like,
Yeah. Well, there's just more people in the US. It makes more sense. It's just
not
yeah.
anymore. It's also way more, sorry, this is now getting into,
This is
now
a
I'm going to
side
start,
the side conversation.
well, now I'm going to get into hotel bashing and how much they charge at hotels in the United
Uh,
States.
All right.
Anyways, that's everything
Sorry.
we've got from Wikidata, I think, unless Sasha or Kyla want to jump in and say anything. Hopefully we'll get the stats piece figured out one of these days.
yeah.
So speaking of, I can't remember where we left off on. So we had the draft, which I threw the link in there. I think Crystal may have even, did Crystal make it? I don't think she was able to. Nope. I think Crystal may have contacted everybody and said, make it so, or so. Did that happen? Did I dream it? Maybe not.
She
Maybe I dreamt
she
it.
definitely contacted us, and I told her that we are not ready.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Um, so, yeah. How other communities also not ready. I have no idea with Disney
Sorry, for
if they're doing
stats.
anything. Yeah.
I felt Misty and Jill like maybe I was gone for a second, but I think we were pretty okay with the direction.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
am I misremembering? Because I think it was pretty straightforward. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at Jill's reactions and I'm not seeing anything counter. Sorry, I'm only not on a camera because every 5 seconds I have to like hack up a lung, and so it's like
Oh
Oh, I'm
dear.
sorry. Feel better. Oh
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
These
I
damn
I am
allergies.
almost better. Yeah.
Oh, and
Um,
just to clarify for the notes, thank you so much, Eric, for taking them. Um, Wikidata is not ready to do stats, but we said that we will ask people to start trying to do stats so that we can report something during the next PCC reporting period. Just we're
Yeah.
not really in a place where we can officially start doing stats.
Yeah, I would say like this reporting period would kind of be our chance to let folks in the community of practice try some methods, see what works, see what they hate, see what doesn't work,
mhm.
and then like actually start the stats probably next time around, ideally with a Google Chrome extension.
Fingers crossed.
That sounds so cool. Yes, fingers crossed. Okay. I'm looking at the document now. So it's clear to everybody, I think, what we should be tracking. We just need to get it, I think we just need to get it onto the wiki, the EMCO wiki. We actually put something there, finally. Um, okay. Well, then I will work on that. Let me get that in my to-do. Whoopsie. Okay. And then, yeah, I think I really, okay, I do remember the last conversation we had about um, I think everybody was, getting all those like PCC emails about, okay, get your stats in. That it was not the moment for EMCO to do that, but that's okay. All right. I love the idea of just taking the next 6 months, to just sort of figure out if we can all do this. And I will follow up with ISNI to see if they even talked about it. I'm not sure. Okay. So, uh, with that out of the way, I wanted to talk about, I know you all are so busy, and we need to start talking about EMCO beyond EMCO. I think the PCC really wants to know what the heck's going on with us, and I know the broader community is also curious. I get just people just contact me because they see my name everywhere, and they're like, "What's this EMCO thing?" And I'm like, "Oh," and I tell them, and they're like, "But what does it look like day to day?" And I'm like, so I feel like we need that I don't know, like show and tell or something to kind of help people understand what it is. So we had a great idea of doing privacy and entity management. There was something about gender just a moment ago we just talked about. There's birth dates, whatever. I feel like that combined with did the PCC actually put out the statement yet? Or is it just a report from the committee? I can't remember. I'll have to look at that. But anyway, the PCC has thoughts about that, and maybe has even put out the guidance. I can't remember. So we could do privacy, we could do show and tells. I would love to hear from your perspective, like how hard or how big a lift do you think it would be for folks, not you specifically, but like folks in your communities to kind of start, I don't know, doing some doing some of those show and tells or talking about their experience so far. Do you know of projects happening? I don't know.
Um, I could just quickly mention that the NACO privacy recommendations were incorporated into the DCMZ1 recently.
Okay,
They show up kind of right now, they're highlighted as red fonts.
that's
It's
right.
kind of difficult to kind of, since it's now just a PDF, it's a bit difficult to navigate. I ended up creating a local document for our people, kind of copying and pasting those things out field by field, but
Okay.
that's how they got kind of implemented.
Oh, do they do summaries anymore? When they used to change DMZ, they used to be like, and here's the summary of what changed. Did that happen? I don't
I
remember
don't
seeing
think
that.
so. Yeah, I don't really
Ah,
recall seeing anything like that recently.
okay. Um, that's something we could look for. If nothing else, there is a report that if, and I have access to the policy committee notes, if they voted yes, let's recommend to do all the things that the task group recommended, then we know what's supposed to be in the document anyway. And then I can try and look for um, that like change log document that I hope is out there for DCMZ1. I never get that right. Anyway. Um, I assume that if it's good for NACO, it's good for EMCO, but we should probably also talk about that too. How closely should these hew together? I mean, I assume closely. But each registry is going to work a little different. So that's the thing that I think would be really interesting to talk about is how do these play out in these different registries? But anyway, let's see something in chat. I know we do have a bonus participant. Um, Other ideas? How likely is it that we could get a show and tell style thing done? Does that seem unlikely right now? Maybe it's not the thing to do at this moment.
I mean, I think Anne is ready to go with the project with the product demo at any time.
That's not what we need, though. I think it's a show and tell kind of like what the groups have been up to, right?
Users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, thank you, Jill. Show and tell. I can get something to show. Give me some website or put it on the screen. No, but I mean, Misty and Jill have been doing, I mean, what do you think? I think we have enough to describe what we've been working on so far, if that's helpful, or if it's preferred that we meet some kind of tangible milestone.
Well, Jennifer, would it be helpful if maybe just like each group threw together two or three slides to give to you? Is that what you're
Hmm.
looking for, like an overall?
Okay, I'm gonna answer your question with a non-answer. The thing I'm hearing from people is, but what does my day-to-day work look like? How does this impact my workflow at my library? How does it, if you are a NACO library, how does it interplay with the NACO work that goes on? That's what I'm hearing from the community, and I don't know if we have folks who have thoughts about that they could share, or just anecdotally. I mean, like, for now, this is what I'm seeing in my library, and that could even be useful for others to muse upon. I don't know.
Do you want this just from coordinators, or would you like us to, ask others
I
what they're
would
using it for?
I would love for it to not be your jobs since you're already doing so much. But of course, like we'll put anyone on a webinar that we host, right? Like that's okay. Yeah, I think it could be interesting to have a call go out from coordinators to say, hey, we're gonna do a little show and tell. Will you volunteer to show us your project or talk about it a little bit? There's a lot of questions too about how do I convince my leadership that this is worth it? It's like, oh yeah. Um,
I have many snarky comments about that too.
mm, I mean, I'm with you. But my job right now is to not be snarky, so it's so hard to turn off. Uh,
I think for Wikidata, like we're kind of at an advantage because folks have been integrating this in their NACO, like people are doing it in conjunction with their NACO work. So I'm sure there has to be someone in the community who'd be willing to talk about how they're doing that. And there are already projects built out. So I think it would be relatively light lift to find someone from our group.
okay. Okay.
Same here. I'm pretty sure that we also have people who are using, probably multiple people who are using Meridian specifically for a certain project and NACO
Mm.
for other things. So yeah, I agree. Sorry.
Uh, so if IMAC could provide this sort of administrative support, which would include possible, I don't know what we call it, prompts for people to think about like what to talk about or to show us to show whomever. Maybe that would be a place to start. And then you could kind of push that call out to your communities. Does that sound like a way to go? And then I guess the other, what's my question? How much does your communities talk about what individuals or institutions are doing? Do you have time to do that in your meetings? Your meetings are probably so full of all administrative stuff that maybe it's not happening yet, which is okay.
We haven't really been talking much about what people are doing
Okay.
in our meetings, but Kyla did send out a email a couple of weeks ago to try to get some engagement by talking about, what kind of cool projects have you been up to? And there was a little bit of
Mm,
There was
engagement.
a little bit, yeah.
hmm Okay.
In our group, it comes up as like questions for like
Oh,
technical questions. I was doing this
sure.
and
Yep. Got it. Okay.
So we can dig those out of the meeting notes.
Yeah. Or might at least give you a hint as to who to ask. Yeah.
Okay, Levi. Shh. So I know that we're also like we'll get people asking questions. Um, they'll come up during the meeting. So when they're like using Meridian for something, so we kind of find out a little bit of what they're doing with it that way too, because
Mhm.
something comes up.
Okay. I think there's something there we can we can get onto. So why don't I will try to come up with a set of questions. I'll pop them by iMac and then we'll share them with you all to maybe try and get some interest. I can talk to there's a group now, there's a committee in PCC that just does like outreach or membership or engage something. I can't remember what they're called, but hey, maybe they'll post a webinar for us. We don't have to do that part at least. And they can do the promo. So I think we can make use of the sort of built-in PCC infrastructure to kind of help us get this going.
Okay.
Uh,
I was going to say also, I am now one of the co-chairs for LD4 conference, which will be in September or October. And I bet they
aha.
would love to hear about what EMCO has been up to
Ooh.
in a panel kind of situation or something.
Ooh, 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 ooh. I love it. Okay.
We're like literally
Um,
meeting for the second time tomorrow, as far as planning
okay.
goes. So like not soon, but
Okay. But
to keep in the back of your mind.
yeah, that's amazing. Okay, I'm so glad you said that. Um, I moonlight on MCLS linked data users group. That's what I think why you all got hooked into to their work. But we are always sort of combing through that program and trying to find good stuff to go to. Anyway, okay, that's awesome. I don't have a timeline. Summer is hard. Um, we'll have to see. Has anyone done programming during the summer? It probably goes not well, does it? I mean, I don't know. I'm working all summer. It's the only time it's quiet. Okay, maybe not. We'll see.
I feel like
Um,
LD4 used to be in July,
Yeah, we did it in
Yeah,
July, at the end of
and
July
I feel
last
like
year.
it was pretty
hmm.
well attended. Or
yeah.
am I making that up?
No, you're not making that up. I think we
No,
had
no,
like
it
1,000
was.
people registered.
Yeah.
Whoa, in July? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it goes okay if it's virtual.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's
Dublin
just
Core is usually early. It used to be early
Oh,
September. Maybe it's,
October.
yeah,
It's
maybe now it's
October.
October.
It was October last year. It's August this year.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Um,
Oh,
yeah.
I might have to do with the
And
host. Well, anyway.
I think you usually want to dodge the ALA week, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Last week of June. Nope. Yeah, because RBMS does their thing that, yeah, NASIG's about to happen. So, okay, I'll have to look at the like look for a conference schedule and make sure we're not conflicting with anything. Maybe
We have the
some late
LD4
summer.
conference coordinators have a list of conference of interests and their things I can share.
Oh my God, that'd
I'll
be
send it to you.
great. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. So not soon, but maybe before August? Eh. Okay. So iMac will work on pulling together some. We need to find a catchy name, EMCO something. I don't know. Um, so what I imagine is that it might be appropriate for somebody from iMac, hopefully not me, but maybe me, to do some sort of like background and then have the folks do the actual fun part. But, okay. Cool. Well, those were ton of ideas. We're out of action items, but we're also, did I only schedule this for 45? I did. And oh my God, we got through all the agenda. Man, I feel like I'm winning the day. All right. So, anything else we want to share or talk about for maybe next time? I can make notes for that. Anything that would help you all that has been vexing lately? My Mac can help. No? Okay. Well, you know how to reach us. Should you run into issues or share success stories? I love those too. You got something you're really proud of? Please share. I'll be your cheerleader. Okay. Sounds great. Well, I'll let us go so we can go get about our day. Thank you all so much. I keep hearing a lot of excitement from the second cohort, and I'm getting all jazzed about it all over again. Not that not always excited about entity management, but it's nice when other people share in the excitement as well. So, all right, everybody have a good rest of your day, and I'll check in if you need anything.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.